Hello, I'm Iain Craig, BDO's Eye on Tax, and I'm here to share with you the results of our BDO survey on what you wish to see in Budget 2017. Let's talk first about growth. It's clear from our survey that the people factor remains the biggest obstacle to growing your business. The lack of skills and difficulty with recruitment was listed as the #1 priority. This was endorsed with specific comments around the cost of living in Auckland and access to public transport issues. But the comments weren't restricted to Auckland. In Taranaki, there were specific changes to the funding of GPs, which seemed to be counterintuitive to a shortage of GPs in that area. The people factor was closely followed by the burden of red tape, and specifically the new health and safety legislation, which appears to be putting additional strains on businesses. Interestingly, the state of the economy and access to finance and capital rated lower than wanting to maintain a work-life balance, with Wellington recently ranked #1 in a global quality of life survey by Deutsche Bank. Who would want to work so hard they lost that work-life balance? And as you know, as accountants, we like everything to be balanced. In terms of investment, our survey was evenly spread across investment in technology, hiring and training people, perhaps not surprising given the reflection on the obstacles with skills shortages and recruitment, spending on infrastructure and assistance with sales and marketing programs. Given the likelihood that Budget 2017 could be a spending budget, the ministers would be encouraged to spend on areas which would build capacity and capability for the future. Our third question on what tax initiatives you'd like to see in the budget did not identify a single runaway tax idea that is a must-have for Budget 2017. If tax cuts are to be introduced, you favoured a lower corporate tax rate for small and medium-sized companies, ahead of a personal tax cut, which could be introduced, say, by increasing the band of income before a higher tax rate is imposed. You also favoured increased incentives to encourage more spending on research and development, but also in providing funds to inland revenue to ensure the multinational corporations doing business in New Zealand are paying their fair share of tax. It's clear from the survey that people matter. You have included suggestions around addressing the burden of student debt, perhaps by reforming the loan regime, or providing free transport to students. Addressing the skills shortages, you'd like to see increased incentives to make it easier for apprenticeships to be given. You may be aware that the Inland Revenue have been on this digital and business transformation programme for a number of years, with the first reforms truly introduced earlier this year. It's still a little too early to say how successful they have been, but it's clear that you want them to stay on this digital and business transformation path. It's always difficult to predict what the Minister might put in his budget. A left field idea could be a radical cut in company tax rate from 28% to say something as low as 20%. When Donald Trump announced a corporate tax rate of 15% for the US, it became clear that a 28% tax rate was relatively high by other country standards. A cut in the basic company tax rate would be a significant incentive for overseas investment into businesses in New Zealand. It would also encourage New Zealand-owned businesses to retain and invest in their business rather than distribute through dividends. Thankfully, we don't have long to wait, and we look forward to bringing you our update on the budget next Thursday on the 25th of May 2017.